The Great Wall of China, an architectural marvel stretching over 13,000 miles, stands as a testament to human ambition and ingenuity. Built to safeguard the Chinese states from relentless invasions, it emerged as a colossal defense project that spanned centuries. Its construction began in the 7th century BC, with the earliest walls laid by the Warring States period. The Qin dynasty, under Emperor Qin Shi Huang in the 3rd century BC, unified these fragmented structures into a single military defense system. Stone, earth, and wood formed the backbone of this great barrier, reflecting the era's craftsmanship. Motivations ran deep. Initially, these vast fortifications served to protect against the northern nomadic tribes, who posed constant threats to the agrarian societies of the south. The Great Wall was a clear declaration: territory would not be easily breached. Emperors envisioned a fortified China, a bulwark against chaos. As centuries rolled on, each dynasty poured resources into this monumental project, reinforcing and expanding the wall. Towers, battlements, and watchtowers punctuated the landscape, maintaining a vigilant eye over the horizon. By the time the Ming dynasty rose to power in the 14th century, the wall underwent its most significant renovations. Facing the formidable Mongol hordes, the Ming fortified the wall using bricks and stone, transforming it into a defensive stronghold fit for its era. The ambition was grand. The wall now enveloped the northern regions of China, stretching from the Bohai Sea in the east to the Gobi Desert in the west. It traversed rugged mountains, vast rivers, and arid plains, a winding serpent of stone amidst breathtaking landscapes. Yet each stone and brick was laden with trust, a commitment to safety that would soon betray its builders. For all its formidable presence, the wall's purpose was not only defense. It controlled trade and migration, funneling goods along the Silk Road and regulating the movement of people. Merchants and travelers often navigated the wall's checkpoints, preserving the delicate balance of economic interests and security. This dual purpose created a reliance on the wall that extended far beyond military might. Regions flourished alongside it, while the promise of protection solidified the trust placed in its existence. However, trust, like stone, can crumble. As we dive deeper into the tumultuous 13th century, a catastrophic betrayal begins to unfold. The Mongols, led by Genghis Khan and his successors, became increasingly adept at breaching these barriers. Their tactics evolved beyond brute force, utilizing speed and strategy that outmaneuvered the expectation established by the wall's formidable structure. The wall, a supposed safeguard, began to resemble a prison. Its fortifications fortified the empire's beliefs while simultaneously trapping its defenders. Victories turned to losses, and the steadfast resolve of the wall faltered in the face of cunning strategy. As defenses began to collapse, emotions ran high among the Chinese soldiers. Deception lay within the shadows of the towering stones. Could these walls, once a symbol of strength, have become a harbinger of doom? What lay ahead for those who had relied on it for protection? The Great Wall had become an emblem of both hope and despair. In the heat of battle, the news of a breach loomed large. Could the Mongols truly dismantle the pride of Chinese defense? The fate of an entire dynasty hung in the balance. As the echoes of betrayal lingered, the wall stood silently, concealing secrets that would unravel in the chaos to come. What dark revelations awaited as the Mongols pressed on? In the early 13th century, Genghis Khan was on the rise, unifying the fragmented tribes of the Mongolian steppes into a single, ruthless force. From 1206, he unleashed an unprecedented storm of warfare, carving out an empire that stretched across Asia and into Europe. His strategic brilliance set him apart. He didn't merely use brute force, he innovated. The Mongols mastered mobility, employing swift cavalry and psychological warfare to instill fear in their enemies. As Mongol armies advanced, northern China felt the tremors of impending doom. The reigning Jin dynasty, caught unprepared, scrambled to defend its territories. Defectors within the ranks fed crucial intelligence to the invaders, while the Chinese militaries floundered under outdated tactics. Internecine conflict and corruption within the court only exacerbated the situation. Armored cavalry units faced off against nimble riders, and the Mongols were winning. Previous defenses had faltered. The Great Wall, originally built to deter minor incursions, now stood as a mere barrier to a sophisticated war machine. Its checkpoint stations and garrisons, once bastions of strength, became choke points during desperate retreats. The Chinese defenders, compelled to rally behind the very structure that promised their safety, faced a bitter betrayal. This wall, an emblem of national pride, morphed into a prison that contained their best hopes and their worst fears. Genghis Khan exploited every weakness. He skillfully employed feigned retreats, drawing soldiers into the open before encircling them in a deadly embrace. His tactics turned standard siege warfare on its head. Instead of simply laying siege to fortified positions, he used coalitions of conquered peoples to launch surprise assaults. These locals understood the terrain better than the beleaguered Chinese soldiers. The strategy was clear: disrupt supply lines, sow discord, and attack where the enemy was weakest. By 1211, the Mongols breached the Great Wall at multiple points. With each victory, they captured not only land, but also critical resources and manpower. The devastation transformed lush fields into desolate battlegrounds. Villages burned, and homes were reduced to rubble. The suffering of common people became a harrowing backdrop to the relentless march of Mongol soldiers, reshaping the landscape of northern China forever. The impact of these invasions was profound. The once thriving Silk Road fell into disarray. Trade routes, vital arteries of commerce, became perilous pathways marked by uncertainty. As fear took hold, the specter of the Mongols loomed large over every aspect of life. Mandate of heaven, the Chinese philosophy justifying the emperor's right to rule, began to unravel. Each breach of the wall eroded the morale of the Chinese defenders. Their faith in the northern barrier faded as the cries of their people echoed in the shadows of battle. Was the Great Wall truly the protector it was meant to be? Were its builders ultimately chasing a false sense of security? The Great Wall, vast and ambitious, became a symbol of failed trust, a shelter that could not shelter them. As the tides of war surged and reached critical mass, one question hung in the air: how would China respond to this ever-growing Mongol threat? What measures could possibly ensure survival against an enemy so cunning and relentless? The stakes were higher than ever, setting the scene for the next chapter in this tumultuous saga. The Great Wall, an emblem of pride and resilience, was riddled with flaws. Its construction, while ambitious, faltered under the weight of its own limitations. Built primarily of tamped earth and wood, parts of the wall eroded over time. The geography surrounding it complicated matters. The wall often traversed harsh terrains, uneven foothills, and steep mountains. Nature itself turned into an ally for the Mongols, who could maneuver through these treacherous landscapes where the wall could not. Consider the year 1211. The Mongols, driven and cunning, breached the wall at the Shikshia Pass in a spectacular display of tactical prowess. They employed siege engines and strategic distractions, rendering the wall's towering presence irrelevant. Guards, witnessing the invaders' audacity, could only watch in disbelief as their sanctuary crumbled. It marked a stark reality. The great bastion failed to hold. Mongol raids were not merely brute force, they were calculated endeavors. In battles such as those at the city of Zhongdu, the wall offered no deterrent against the Mongol cavalry. Chinese troops found themselves outmaneuvered in open fields, struggling against lightning-fast Mongol horsemen whose tactics revolved around agility and surprise. Urban centers became targets, vulnerable despite the wall standing sentinel. The wall did not fail in spirit but in tactical intent. Within its stronghold, complacency brewed. The Chinese armies, preoccupied with defending the wall, ignored alternative strategies. Many believed that the wall alone could sustain their safety, leading to fatal underestimations of the Mongols' ingenuity and relentless determination. Engagements at the Great Wall were marred by infighting among the Chinese military commanders, weakening coordinated defenses. The Jin dynasty's internal strife sapped their strength, allowing the relentless Mongolian forces to exploit every weakness. The pride in their monumental creation had become a snare rather than a safeguard. Despite the wall's imposing presence, the truth was clear. Genghis Khan's forces adapted swiftly to the challenges presented by the wall. His integration of deception, overwhelming force, and psychological tactics, like feigned retreats, often lured Chinese troops into vulnerabilities. They weren't merely facing a formidable enemy. They faced an innovator who understood the art of war, and its interplay with geography and human error. It's essential to note that the wall did not simply collapse under attack. It revealed deeper vulnerabilities of a civilization clinging to tradition while facing a ruthlessly adaptive adversary. With each breach, the illusion of invincibility shattered further. As Chinese defenses crumbled against the might of the Mongols, critical questions arose. How could a structure built over centuries fail so dramatically? What strategies could have altered the tide of these conflicts? The narrative of the Great Wall and its betrayal continues to unfold. As we delve deeper into the ensuing chaos, we must ask, was the wall merely a monument, or did it serve a more insidious purpose, one that led to the very downfall of its creators? What lessons linger in its shadow for future defenders? The aftermath of the Mongol invasions left the Song and Jin dynasties in tatters. The Great Wall, once a symbol of strength, now represented a staggering betrayal of trust. Chinese soldiers, trapped behind its formidable facade, realized too late that their supposed sanctuary had transformed into a prison. They fought valiantly, but the wall's crumbling defenses only allowed Mongol forces to exploit weaknesses more easily. With Genghis Khan's tactics outmaneuvering the stagnant strategies of the Chinese, the devastating reality sank in. The fortified structure, instead of serving as a bulwark against invaders, became a dense net that ensnared its own defenders. Vampires fed on their confidence, and as the dust settled, disillusionment spread through the ranks of the armies. Internal divisions, the very divide they sought to assuage with this monumental project, now paralyzed their response. Ground gained through hard-fought battles slipped from their grasp as they faced the brutal efficiency of Mongol cavalry. Once allies, the wall and its builders had become adversaries. The soldiers who once gazed upon the Great Wall with pride began to see it as a shrine to their failures. Some historians reflect on this irony, a landscape of hope now stained with betrayal. Instead of instilling fear in the heart of the Mongols, the wall became a figure of their mocking triumph. As centuries rolled on, this tale morphed into a cautionary narrative. The Great Wall served not just as a barrier, but as an emblem of hubris. Its construction demanded colossal resources, a massive commitment that perhaps would have been better allocated to strengthening military capabilities or fostering unity among the various Chinese states. Instead, the notion of the wall's invincibility blinded its creators to alternative defenses. The patterns of history were set in motion. The Mongols' relentless pursuit and adaptability revealed the limitations of the Great Wall. While it was an architectural marvel by all accounts, it also demonstrated a profound lesson in the dangers of over-reliance on static defenses. The scars of those battles did not just mar the landscape, they etched deep into the memories of the people, laying the groundwork for future generations. In modern China, the Great Wall stands tall, yet it has transformed into more than just a relic of military strategy. It is a powerful symbol of perseverance and a testament to the complexities of national identity. Visitors from around the world admire its majesty, yet few remember the lessons born from its shadows. A wall designed to protect became, in essence, a monument to vulnerability. As we reflect on the legacy of the Great Wall, one question looms. What if Genghis Khan had not altered the course of history? What lessons remain relevant today in the face of challenges that threaten a nation? Stay with us as we explore the deeper meanings wrapped within these ancient stones and unearth the truths that echo through time.